I am Shri and you are watching Bharat Careers 2047. Do subscribe, like, comment and share our videos. Jai Hind. In May 2026, a surgeon in India operated on a patient's heart in Guyana, 20,000 kilometers away, using a robot he never touched with his own hands. No visa, no flight, no jet lag, just fiber optic cable and a robotic arm called Mantra. And here's the part that should actually worry you. The company that built that robot is Indian. It's hiring. And most engineering students in this country have never even heard its name. Every year, career advice videos tell you the same 4 options: software consulting, core engineering, or prepare for CAT. Nobody talks about the sector sitting quietly between healthcare, AI, and hardware. Because 3 years ago, it barely existed as a job market in India. Today it does. Here's the one stat that should stop you scrolling. And healthcare is one of the fastest growing slices of that pie. The Indian AI in healthcare market itself is projected to grow at over 40% a year. That's not a typo. That's a hiring wave building right now, and most of it hasn't even hit LinkedIn job boards yet. Now layer on the money. The IndiaAI mission, approved back in 2024, continues to fund compute infrastructure and applied AI research, including health-specific tools. In the FY 2026 to 27 budget, another 1,000 crore rupees was earmarked to keep that engine running. But here's the line that should really get your attention. Buried inside the health budget is direct funding for robotic surgery centers and AI-enabled centers inside government medical colleges, not private hospitals, government medical colleges. That means robotics and AI aren't staying in 5-star private hospitals in South Delhi. They're about to show up in Tier 2 and Tier 3 government institutions, which means jobs are about to show up there too. Now layer on the money. The IndiaAI mission, approved back in 2024, continues to fund compute infrastructure and applied AI research, including health-specific tools. In the FY 2026 to 27 budget, another 1,000 crore rupees was earmarked to keep that engine running. But here's the line that should really get your attention. Buried inside the health budget is direct funding for robotic surgery centers and AI-enabled centers inside government medical colleges, not private hospitals, government medical colleges. That means robotics and AI aren't staying in 5-star private hospitals in South Delhi. They're about to show up in Tier 2 and Tier 3 government institutions, which means jobs are about to show up there too. Add the Ayushman Bharat digital mission and the e-Sanjeevani telemedicine platform, which has now crossed 282 million consultations, with over 12 million of those assisted by AI-based diagnosis. And you start to see it. This isn't a pilot project anymore. This is national infrastructure. That combination, public money plus private funding, is exactly the pattern that created the IT boom of the 2000s. Except this time, it needs engineers who understand biology and hardware, not just code. Now let's talk about who's actually building this. And I want to bust a myth right away. This is not just startup territory. Some of India's oldest, biggest healthcare and tech names are moving hard into AI and robotics. If you want stability with upside, this is your list. Apollo, India's largest private hospital chain, is expanding its AI investment specifically to cut doctor and nurse workload. Think AI tools that read electronic health records, auto-generate discharge summaries, and recommend the right antibiotic. And on the hardware side, Apollo Spectra has already rolled out a multi-robot surgical suite in Delhi NCR, combining robotic arms with 3D anatomical modeling for safer, faster surgeries. Wipro GE Healthcare, the joint venture between GE and Wipro, has committed roughly 8,000 crore rupees, close to $1 billion, over 5 years into Indian manufacturing and R&D for medical devices and imaging AI. Siemens Healthineers is putting nearly $200 million into a new innovation hub in Bengaluru, a serious signal that Indian engineering talent is now trusted to build global medical imaging AI, not just supported. Medtronic's Hyderabad Engineering and Innovation Center supports more than 15 business units, including robotic surgery tools and connected care platforms. This is one of the largest medtech engineering hubs outside the US. Then there's the IT services angle. Almost nobody connects to healthcare. Tata Elxsi is building AI-powered medical imaging tools. TCS has launched dedicated AI drug discovery platforms. Infosys has its clinical AI product called Topaz. And global pharma and medtech companies are increasingly parking entire AI teams inside India through global capability centers. Because a top ML engineer costs a company $250,000 a year in the US and roughly a quarter of that in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, or Pune. Healthcare and life sciences already make up around 14% of revenue at companies like Wipro and Infosys, and that share is growing. Now the exciting part, the startups. I have broken these into 4 segments so you know exactly where your skill set fits. Qure.ai, Mumbai-based, has raised close to $87 million and has analyzed over 39 million patient scans for things like TB, stroke and lung disease. Multiple market watchers now name it as a likely IPO candidate for 2026 to 27. That's a company that could go public while you're still in your first 2 years there. SigTuple, based in Bengaluru, does the same thing for pathology, using computer vision to read blood samples and microscopy slides faster and more consistently than manual review. Niramai, their thermalytics technology screens for early breast cancer using thermal imaging and AI with zero radiation, which makes it viable even in rural screening camps with no advanced equipment. Tricog runs AI-powered cardiac diagnostics, reading ECGs remotely and flagging heart attacks in smaller towns where a cardiologist may be hours away. Dozee has raised about $15 million and builds contactless, sensor-based monitoring that tracks heart rate, respiration, and sleep from a device under the mattress. No wires on the patient at all. This is the segment to watch if you're interested in IoT plus healthcare. This is the one that opened this video. SS Innovations, the makers of the SSI Mantra surgical robot, is Indian founded, listed on Nasdaq, and grew revenue from about $6 million in 2023 to over $42 million in 2025. By mid-2026, they had crossed 210 installed systems across multiple countries and completed the world's longest distance robotic telesurgery, India to Guyana. They just beat Intuitive Surgical, Medtronic, and Johnson MedTech to win Outstanding Company at the Surgical Robotics Technology Awards 2026. That's an Indian company beating the biggest names in the world at their own game. Also watch HRS Navigation, a Bengaluru company building India's own computer-assisted and robotic-assisted navigation systems for complex brain and spine surgery. The 4th segment is quieter but massive. AI-driven drug discovery run partly by startups and partly inside global capability centers of international pharma companies based out of Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Pune. This is where computational biology meets machine learning, and it pays extremely well for people who can do both. Okay, this is the segment you actually came for. Let's map out the real jobs. For engineers, machine learning engineer, healthcare, computer vision engineer for medical imaging, robotic systems engineer, embedded systems engineer for surgical devices, clinical data scientist, MLOps engineer for healthcare data pipelines, biomedical signal processing engineer, and regulatory and quality engineer for medical device compliance. For MBA grads, product manager, health AI, business development for hospital tech partnerships, healthcare market access strategist, and operations roles scaling robotic surgery programs across hospital networks. For CA and CFA professionals, and this one surprises people. Healthcare, AI, and medtech startups need financial analysts who understand both burn rate discipline and medical device capital cycles, investment analysts at healthcare-focused VC funds, and compliance and audit specialists, as more of these companies list on public markets like SS Innovations already has on Nasdaq. For engineers, the baseline is a BTech or MTech in computer science, electronics, biomedical engineering, or robotics from any recognized institute, not just IITs. On top of that, Python, PyTorch, or TensorFlow, computer vision libraries like OpenCV, Basic ROS, Robot Operating System, if you're leaning towards hardware, and familiarity with DICOM medical imaging formats and HL7/FHIR healthcare data standards. Those last two, DICOM and FHIR, are the exact keywords recruiters in this space search for, and almost nobody outside healthcare AI knows them. Write that down. For MBAs, healthcare sector electives, a certification in health tech or digital health, and any hands-on project. For CA/CFA candidates, healthcare sector financial modeling experience and familiarity with medtech regulatory frameworks like FDA 510K and India's CDSCO approvals are a real differentiator. Now the number everyone actually wants. For machine learning engineers in healthcare, entry level 0 to 2 years, 8 to 15 LPA. Mid-level 3 to 5 years, 18 to 35 LPA. Senior 6 to 10 years, 40 to 70 LPA. And leads above 10 years can cross a crore per annum. For clinical data scientists, 6 to 12 LPA entry, 15 to 28 LPA mid-level, 32 to 55 LPA senior. And here's a detail that matters. Healthcare domain expertise alone adds 15 to 30% on top of a standard AI salary. For fresher robotics and biomedical engineering roles at companies like Siemens Healthineers and GE Healthcare, expect starting packages in the 4 to 8 LPA range, moving up quickly with 2 to 3 years of experience. Geographically, Bengaluru leads for both AI startup and robotics engineering. Hyderabad is strong for medtech R&D. That's where Medtronic's big innovation center sits. Chennai and the Delhi NCR belt are strong for hospital-based robotics roles, thanks to Apollo's presence. Pune and Mumbai are strong for pharma AI and GCC-style drug discovery roles, and Mumbai specifically for companies like Qure.ai. Watch these names on your job portals over the next 2 years. Apollo Hospitals, Wipro GE Healthcare, Siemens Healthineers, Medtronic, Philips Healthcare, Tata Elxsi, TCS and Infosys, Healthcare Verticals, Qure.ai, SigTuple, Niramai, Dozee, Tricog, SS Innovations, and HRS Navigation. Also keep an eye on global pharma, GCCs setting up in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Pune. They hire in large batches and often don't show up on the usual campus placement radar. So how do you actually position yourself for this in the next 12 months? 4 steps. 1. Decide if you're going AI software, imaging, diagnostics, data, or hardware robotics, surgical systems, embedded devices. Don't try to do both at once as a fresher. Specialize first, broaden later. Step 2. One project analyzing a public medical imaging dataset or a simple ROS-based robotic arm simulation will do more for your resume than 5 generic certificates. Recruiters in this space are starved for candidates who've touched real healthcare data. Step 3. DICOM, HL7, FHIR, CDSCO, FDA 510K, ISO 13485. You don't need to master all of these. You need to be able to answer basic questions correctly in an interview. That alone puts you ahead of 90% of applicants. Step 4. Don't just wait for campus placements. Directly track and apply through Siemens Healthineers Careers Portal, GE Healthcare and Medtronic India career pages, Apollo Hospitals Digital Health Division, and startup career pages for Qure.ai, SS Innovations, Dozee, Niramai, and SigTuple. Also follow HR and hiring leads on LinkedIn from these companies directly. A large share of health AI roles get filled through direct outreach before they're even posted publicly. Let's zoom out for a second. 3 years ago, AI in healthcare in India was a research paper. Today, it's a government mission, a listed company on Nasdaq, and a hiring wave across Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Chennai that most of your classmates haven't clocked yet. You don't need to be a genius to get into this space. You need to be early. And right now, mid-2026, you still are. Like this, if you're aiming for this sector, comment your background, engineering, MBA, CA, CFA, and I'll point you to the exact next step. If you found this useful, subscribe to Bharat Careers 2047. Every week, I break down one real, high-growth career path in India before it becomes mainstream advice. Hope you liked this episode of Bharat Careers 2047. Do comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more exciting episodes ahead.